What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Force Hobbies. Yep, you got it here. Blackstone Laboratories. I have 3 results from my previous cars, including the, most of you guys want to see the Dodge Challenger, of course. 22 Dodge Challenger with 1,000 miles. I got it on here. I actually got all 3. We're going to go over here briefly here. So, let's get into the video here. And I'm going to show you guys the Blackstone Laboratories. They only have like 900 subscribers. So go ahead and sub to Blackstone Laboratories. If you guys have an oil fetish like me, you guys like oil, most of you guys who are car enthusiasts, I'm sure you love oil. Is the test real? Is it fake? Do you really need to listen to it? Let's find out. Okay, also guys, listen to this conversation here with these 2 guys here talking about copper inside the motor oil. We're gonna go over it too. Let me know what you guys think about this small conversation I'm having here with this guy's BMW, and we can go over it. I'll give you my 2 cents after the video.
I kind of heard of the idea, and I liked being able to send the oil in and get analysis. I thought it was kind of cool.
Was there anything in particular you were hoping to learn when you first sampled your oil?
So when I did it initially, I was using Castrol, which is what BMW recommends in their cars. So I wanted to send the Castrol in because I'd heard everyone, you ask on the internet, everyone's like, what oil should I use? And everyone kind of berates Castrol as being bad, and they just recommend it for, cost or whatever. But I figured I'd send it in and see what you guys thought of it, compare it to what I run now, which is liquid moly.
So you're looking at the oil and how it performed, but as for what the oil contained, was there any sort of aspects of the engine that you were particularly interested in knowing more about?
Not necessarily. The one thing, it's not necessarily an issue with the S52 motors. Rod bearings is an issue with the later cars, but it's parts of the top end potentially. I'm not really sure what types of metals you would look out for, but that's something I imagined you would know a lot about.
It certainly doesn't look like an ongoing problem, but now I want to kick it to you as far as, obviously the sodium level is a point of interest, but what else when you see this mass of, different elements and physical properties? Is there anything in particular that you want to know more about?
So I have a few questions written down here. The sodium content was 1. So the copper content, it was at 1 parts per million, but I noticed there's like a section that says like unit averages or local averages. So that said 5. What is that? Like, what does that mean?
So on the far right here with the universal averages, you can see that 5 parts per million is what we typically see out of this engine type. But on the flip side, if we go through each of your samples, you've only had 1 part per million. So the average in your unit location column is 1. And that indicates that the brass and bronze parts in the motor are just wearing very well compared to what we typically see. So in addition to bearings, you can also count copper to show wear from wrist pin or rocker arm bushings in the valve train. So you can really rest easy on the way those brass and bronze parts are wearing with just 1 part per million. It's the smallest amount that we can find when it comes to the spectral analysis. So hard to beat.
That's good to know. I actually, I had the valve cover off in the camshafts. Usually you'll see like a bit of scoring in the middle, and mine are for over 200,000 miles look incredible. I've seen some of these motors like 150 that look worse than mine. So that might
be a lot of M owners like that, impressed by, the odometer mileage and the results that you have, how well it's wearing, all that?
Every time. Even like the engine, just the condition of the car, I think it is held up a lot better than cars with way less miles. And I think I joke with my friends, I'm like, I've been the worst owner of this car.
Okay guys, this is my this is for the 22 Dodge Challenger. As you see here, the 6.4 Hemi. They said here, after a few more oil changes, these elements should settle down around levels in the universal average column. So these are typical wear. Shows typical wear for the Hemi after 5,000 miles on the oil. No fuel, coolant, or moisture was found. Evidence proper filtration. Try 3,000 miles. So my car didn't have 5,000 miles on it. Maybe it's a little typo, but it did say the silicone comes from sealers and lubes used during assembly. So everything is normal as far as the copper and iron. contents. And as you see here from the paper here, phosphorus are all actually lower than usual, which is good. Titanium too. I don't even know if titanium was in the motors. I guess it does exist in motors. Has some pieces of it. Nickel, molybdenum 222 is a little bit higher also, and copper is 121 as you see there. Averages are 48 as averages. Okay, as you can see, this is the F22C. This is my 2005 Honda S2000. I think this oil was actually about 3,000 miles on it. I'm sorry, 1,800 miles was my oil. And the copper here was at 10, as you can see there from the small scrolling paper that I'm reading off of. Copper is 10, universal averages are 3. Do I have a concern? You know, hell no. No concern whatsoever. Molybdenum is 77 and it's 119. Sometimes I can't pronounce these words. Magnesium. That's like something to put on bullets, I guess. This one's at 34. It's supposed to be 0. So that's from the, they said that was from. Okay, I'm just going to read off the top of here. It says, Paul, we can believe this Hyundai had a problem free based on this first set of results. Averages show typical GDI, this is G4K wear after 5,000 miles. Wear materials are actually lower than we expect after just 4,200 miles. So I did the oil change at the oil had 4,200 miles on the oil when I set it into them. So this GDI turbo is wearing with the best of them, which is fantastic. And the motor did cease at 147,000 miles. So it's just a little bit over 30,000 miles later, the motor did cease. Anyway, though, yeah, the setup should be fine. Like you noticed, a little bit of gas with fuels in the oil, which is typical probably for these GDIs. You get that little typical blow-by. But I was very impressed with the results, though. I was very impressed. I wasn't expecting my motor to cease after that, 30,000 miles later. All right, guys. Yeah, what do you think of all the results there? The Force Hobbies. I took a picture of these oil results over here, and I just kind of, you know, posted on the video there. So that's my yeah. So you know, what do you guys think? You think these old analysis are important, or you think they're just kind of just stressing you out about your motor? Me, no stress for at all about my S2000, the copper. I mean, I couldn't give a crap. You know, that that's a strong motor, 23,000 miles. I'm just gonna keep on running it. I'm not gonna, you know, do any other, you know, checks from the motor as far as, like, you know, just doing the maintenance, changing oil every 3,000 miles, only because it's high performance, taking to the track and stuff like that. So I do it every 3,000 miles. Even 10W30 I'm running on that thing, Pennzoil Ultra, as you read in the report. That's all I used. Dodge Challenger, there's 0W40, of course, Pennzoil, the SRT oil, they recommend. And my Hyundai Sonata was just running synthetic oil. I believe when I did the oil change, they had Pennzoil in her. So I just see also had below normal wear. So maybe a couple of things that they got wrong, and that, who knows, right? They could have got a couple of things wrong, and maybe they just didn't find the you know, the 2011s to 2014 Hyundai Sonatas are affected by that a lot of shrapnel inside the motor, metal shavings from when they made them in the factory here down south. They were all made in the United States. I believe it was Alabama where they made them. That's the Hyundai factory. And yeah, they had just metal shavings in the motors, so the oil wasn't getting properly lubricated to the journal. So you had piston rod bearing issues. Piston rod. I mean, how are you going to fix that? That's, you have kind of oil kicking onto the journal and just creating havoc there for the piston bearings right there. So they wore out and it was knocking. You know, that's what happened to my motor. So 147,000 miles, the motor. No, it was 148 when the motor ceased. My knock sensor went. I changed the knock sensor. It did it again, and the mechanic said take it back to Hyundai, and that's trying to pretty much get a refurbished motor. Probably not a new motor, it's probably refurbished, but hey, it's working. I'm happy. You know, the motor's running good now. I'm still using now synthetic oil now. After about the first 10,000 miles, I used to use semi-blend, synthetic blend. Now I'm using fully synthetic oil now just to break it. Now it's broken in after 10,000 miles. No issues. So, yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about this oil analysis. And Force Hobby signing out. Thank you all for watching. Like and sub. Hand me a like. Hand me a like and sub.